Bryson and Brooks, some new clubs going out the door. Another new driver hits our doorstep, and some more What's in My Drawers golf talk. Let's go. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. What's in My Drawers golf talk. Why what's in my drawers? Because old golf club makers, golf club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And that's how this all started. We started with just a discussion on golf equipment, whether it be fitting, repairs, or opinions. And it's gone worldwide. And I thank each and every one of you guys that are in here watching or who will join. And it's really gone to several different countries, which is very, very, very cool. And so we'll go from there. Number one, what do you guys think of that new timer I got? StreamYard had a free countdown timer that, you know, had a little bit more of a funky vibe to it. Anyway, we'll go from there, and we'll start talking. So let's see. Let's start with, well, number one, Bryson and Brooks. Anybody watch it? I unfortunately did not. I heard there was a lot of smack talk. Pardon me. I heard there was a lot of smack talk. I heard that the actual stars of the actual thing were actually Charles and Phil Mickelson, that they were the ones giving the color commentation, and it was just hilarious. And there were some big drives to be had, and Brooks finished him off. If I'm missing something, let me know. So there was that. What we did in the shop, the biggest thing, now again, I put these out on Reels on my Instagram, which is, let's do this. There we go. When you look at those guys, I go to Instagram, and they come out, and they were doing pretty good. We did quite a bit on Sunday to get them ready to go. One went to Kansas City, which is this guy. Orange grips, Orange Golf Pride grips, not bad at all. And they are on some Project XLZs, the 5.5. Those are very stout shafts, I will say. And surprisingly enough, it is right there. Left-handed ZX5s. And they turned out very, very well. I'm really happy about them. So the closeness of them, the way that the weight came out and everything was very, very tight. And I was really appreciative of that. The other one that's going to a father and son group that came up for a fitting are these. Those, and this is for the youngest one who's still in high school. And he is jumbo wind grips on some Nippon, the Modus 105s. And we trimmed him up a little bit to get him into the upper part of the regular range. And so they'll stay with him for a while. And they were Mizuno Pros. The young man had a game. He really had a game. Let's see if I can find another picture of that. 46. Here we go. There's another one. Mizuno Pros. They came out pretty good. Again, I like those just as well. They're more my speed, but a little wider sole. And actually, the 5s and the Pros are very similar to one another. Just one's from Srixon, one's from Mizuno. And it becomes a preferential thing at that point. I did well with that one. I'm currently working on a set from Canada, and it's a 3-through, and we're going to do ZX. I believe they're 5s at the top and 7s at the bottom. And we're switching out shafts to use like another set that we've already made for the gentleman. So we're working on that. That's pretty good. New driver. Oh, before we get started, subscribe if you would, please. Like and subscribe. And tomorrow is a video that's coming out at 7 a.m. In my time, which is Eastern. And it's about the driver that we talked about yesterday, or last week, which was that guy, the ZX7. Actually got to hit it. And I have to say, let's face it, Srixon is not known for their drivers. But if you give this one a shot, I am here to tell you that you will be surprised. It actually performed pretty good. So you'll have to watch the video. What I was really wanting to see is this one, because it was going with the theme of the thing of Brooks's driver. Now, you guys all know that Brooks signed with Srixon, and he's playing the driver, and he's playing the irons. Outside of that, I have no idea. And so the differences here are shape and location of the weight. So on the 5, as you notice, it's back here. I believe that's an 8 gram. And their website's very, very, very informational on how they do the weights. And that guy right there, they can go as low as 2 and as high as 12. So if you wanted it to be a little heavier, you could buy a weight and put it on there. Now, I know the next question burning is, well, what will that do to launch, and what will that do to all this other stuff? Well, if you're doing this with 8, the cool part is, if you're doing this with 8, the rule of thumb is, if you're going to really truly move anything that is significant, you have to move around 10 grams of weight. So if you go from 8 to 12, you're only adding 4. It becomes more of a feel issue. Will you launch it a tad bit higher? Maybe. I would say yes, but would it be perceivably high? No. Would you see it on the machine? Probably yes. But it also, you may incur a little spin. Now the 5 is also one that is more square at address, where the 7, I believe, my opinion, sets a little bit closed, about a degree. It's not gross, and it works for me. So that was not too bad. Now, the funny part about this is my rep is doing me a solid, and she is sending me all kinds of different shafts that I'll eventually change the ends on. But I got a Tensai Silver 60S, X, and I got a Tensai Red 50R, which worked pretty well. I got a Smoke 60S, which was in my driver, and now this one comes with the Even Flow Riptide. If you look, that's a 50 gram S-Flex. So lightweight, supposed to low spin. Now I will say that on the 7, the spin was a little higher than the numbers I'm used to seeing, but not gross. Normally when you see stuff like that they were, it's this big spinning thing. No, not necessarily. So the big boys, the driver technology is really coming alive, and that's a good thing. And then not to be outdone, they same club cover, the best Naga hide that money can buy. All right, so there's that. So we got through it all. Hopefully look, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully you ate more than you were supposed to. I know I did. Oof. And I think today is the day I'm paying for it, if you know what I mean. And but we will get through it. To the point, I've got this today. It's 7-Up. And got to calm the stomach down just a tiny bit. All righty. So that wasn't too bad. That was only 8 minutes. We're going to be doing pretty good. So, all right. We got right here, David's on. Good evening. How are you, sir? Glad to see you can show up from the UK. Hope you're well. Tip trimmed my putter shaft 3 inches. Wow, the putter head is so much more stable. Have I ever tried this thing at the before? Yeah, it depends on what it is. Not 3 inches. In a lot of cases, if you're talking about tip trimming, and you are, that in a lot of cases, the putter shafts that I've used, tip trimming 3 inches would be detrimental. I wouldn't be able to install it on an insert. Now, over the pin, and over the hosel, over the pin where the shaft does like that, yeah, you could probably get away with it. It'd almost be too big, and to the point I have done that, and I actually put a shaft shim on the inside of the shaft. That's a whole different ball of wax. But I've never gone 3 inches. I have trimmed it a little bit because people saw a waggle and you take it out, it's okay. And also it works really good on straight through shafts, not the curves, because the curve starts about the 2 to 2.5 inch mark. But good, I'm glad it works better for you. Mr. Matt, how are you? 75 and 28 degree weather. Dude, you are a freaking Yeti. I mean, to tell you. 78 and 28 degree weather. You are the man. And 37. Gee, many Christmas. How many people? Well, here you go, guys. He's asking you, all of you, how many of you guys actually walk by playing your rounds? I'll start by saying rarely. I might walk once just to get out and stretch my legs, but as a whole, my playing partner Bob has a knee issue, and so we both ride, and it doesn't hurt my feelings one drop. I don't mind driving at all, and so good enough. Charles, how are you, sir? I will say I went and I was on YouTube and I looked up Scotch for Dummies, and I found a few extra ones out there and a new how to term Glenmorangie. That's what I call it, Glenmorangie, I think is what they want to call it. Some really, really neat stuff out there, but I'm still a Glenfiddich fan, but it was neat. The information they got is pretty cool. Matt, he finds it more relaxing in 37 degree weather. You probably have to keep up the body heat, man. Oh my God. Kurt, hello, Jim and Robin. Any chance Mizuno has B-weighted 2251 grind wedges available for a 3/4 overbuild or for a gap wedge? If so, would order. I hope Mrs. McGolf is looking this up. I am going to assume no. Okay, I'm going to assume no, that they don't do it in the wedges, that they only do it in the irons. But we'll take a look. What's Charles say? He walks. Might Ted Chili at 37. Yeah, I'd say. I'm with you on that one. Danny Johnson. Early Christmas present showed up, a 5 and a 6 BB hybrids. Oh, nice. Is gripping down 1 inch the cheapest way to tell if a shorter driver is for me? Yes. Yes, it is. And what you really want to do is take, let's see, my fitting table is covered by a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, oh, it's too far away. Anyway, take a piece of electrical tape. And a piece of normal electrical tape is about an inch wide. Wrap it around the top just 1 or 2 times as a reminder. And don't just hit it once, hit it several times so that you can get used to it. Because the first time it's going to feel weird because the grip is going to be smaller. The rest of it, once you get used to it, then you can make your, do a whole round with it. And then you'll be able to do better with it and make a more informed decision. Kurt says he can only ride now. Used to walk half the time a lifetime ago. Half a lifetime. Okay. On Sunday, the greens are like concrete. I can only imagine. Frozen greens are fun to pound. See what he does. Matt sits here and he waits on. He gets to a certain point, and then he goes and he does his workout. And he told me what the workout is. And ladies and gentlemen, if you see this big tall dude with no hair coming at you like that, I'd be very afraid. Just know that going forward. He's a good soul, but man, oh man, I wouldn't want to mess with him. There we go. Kurt says, got to be 45 and no wind for me to brave it. Hey, you're a little tougher than me, Kurt. I'm at that, well, I could do 45, but 50 is kind of my no-go. Emmanuel, how are you, sir? And happy Monday to you. Glad that you could make it. Play anything that doesn't have snow or lightning. Man, look at him go. My damn hero. Shot 81 last week and playing tomorrow should be a high of 45. Manuel, you are also the man. You guys getting this kind of cold, it's something else. All right. There we go. No way I could ever swing a club with Phil or Sir Charles barking in my ear. No, I'm sure that's probably part of what, who knows, because I would have thought, Bryson lost 4 and 5, and apparently they're only going to play 12 holes. So that's basically getting owned, right? And I can only imagine he was more caught up in the pomp and circumstance than he was playing, because I hear he carried one 375. That's just ridiculous, and in the middle. But yeah, I hear it was just honestly the way Phil and those guys were going. I guess they were having fun with it, and as they should, because everything was for charity. Dave, snowy and cold Michigan. There you go. Well, as an Ohio Stater, and I am a fan, I'm not a diehard, but I am a fan. Congratulations to Michigan for the win. It looks like they had their number this time around. It took several tries to get there, but by golly, they did it, and a win's a win. The funny part was I was watching the Michigan State. You want to talk about real football being played in about, what, an inch or two of snow? That was fun to watch. Those guys are really playing hard. All right, had four lefties in a row for repairs and regrips today. Normally I get one lefty a month. Going to go play lotto. Yes, sir, I would do the same. When they come in, I find out that they come in like that too, including ladies clubs. They'll come in spurts. Larry Oppenhusen, nice. Great meeting with you. Thanks for the hospitality. Can't wait to channel my intermittent golf with the new machine. Larry came down and he got my frequency machine. Good guy. And there you go. Danny Freeman, appreciate you guys and what you do. Well, thank you, Danny. We appreciate that too. Matt, there we go. Thank you. Mike Engel, cold neighboring Indiana. No kidding, right? We're in that time frame. Mrs. McGolf and I we did our high school in Indiana, in the northern part, in north central Logansport, and good memories to be sure. Small little town, had all the accoutrements that a small Indiana town has, but about I think it's about a 4-hour shot from here, 4.5-hour shot. The best root beer stands ever, I will say that. I'm already bugging Sally down that spring. Well, I tell you what, I'll rush out and we'll see if it holds. I'll try and get some of that Great Lakes Christmas stuff, and I'll throw it in the fridge and wait on you guys. Trying to get the belly to working. All right. Jerry Smiley, what is going on, buddy? From Texas, tea time tomorrow. Supposed to be 74. That's beautiful. Hopefully it's not blowing and you can play a heck of a round. Thanks for getting on, bud. There's Brendan. And thank you for getting on there. I know this is a late night for you as well. All right. Evening all. It says, how come the head weights on Odyssey putters, Jim, are all the same weight in 33, 35, though the head would increase in weight if the shorter shaft to keep the swing weight the same? Well, they can do that, but when you're talking about going shorter, the only time that they would actually do it, and they do have weights for it, to make it heavier would be on request. But typically, the shorter club it would be my opinion, the shorter club, what they're thinking is the person doesn't need to have all that added weight. Okay. Now, the other part is that if you're using the Stroke Lab, there's actually another weight that goes in the back that is adjusted. So you have more weight in your hands, not necessarily in the head. Hopefully that's the part that helps you out. Because that weight that's in the back is what drives your consistency, not at the head. All right. Mike says he walks about 50%. Manuel walks and he's 68. You're rising rapidly to the top of my hero list, Emmanuel. Jason, what do you say, bud? Taking the clubs out first time tomorrow, and I rarely take a cart. Good deal. Let us know how they work out. Jerry is on Facebook. Mike Engel, those 50% usually short courses, par threes. Makes sense to me. Have you ever played? There's an executive par three in Indianapolis on the south end. I forget what the name of it is. I got to play it a couple of times before it went private. Very, very nice. Donald McIntosh, 75 years old with a bad knee, hip, and never walk anymore. Well, with all that going on, Donald, I don't think I would either. There's John. How are you, sir? Six hybrid. So is Matt. All right. There's John. I'm down with Mike's idea of 50 grams or 50 degrees. We got Bryson couldn't control the distance of his wedges. That seemed to be a problem area for him in the whole year, didn't it? And you would think that a guy that hits it right up next to the green all the time from the tee box would, concentrate on that. Now, I do remember one where they were giving him crap about not being able to, and he came back the next week and just dialed everything straight in. So I don't know what changed. Mike's in Lafayette. All right. Yeah, I know exactly where that's at. We used to go there skateboarding when I was a kid. That was way back when. I think skateboard wheels were square back then. But yeah, very cool. All right. Can always count on you for a color commentary, buddy. That's awesome. I walked the cart. You're getting closer to my idea right there. Michael, I walk in the winter, ride in the summer, a human here in Arkansas. Okay. That would make sense to me too. All right. What do we got here? TS. Knees won't allow me to walk anymore, playing Thursday in Central Illinois. Supposed to be in the mid-50s. We tee off in the mid-60s by the end of the round. That's playable. That's playable. And you're going to get the wind off the lake, but that's playable. Here we go. Oh, somebody knows. Burkwood 52. B&K was east, was torn down and replaced by a Burger King. Get the hell out. B&K West is still going strong. Bob, what's up with that? B&K East. I got to get my bearings. Okay. I think I know which one that is. Damn. Well, you got the other one. I remember when we had the A&W root beer stand there too. And we still have Charbet's still there. So there's still hope. All right. Bryson, spending too much time speed training. He admitted he has not played golf in weeks. Ah, there we go. Didn't want to give him any time, right? All right. Yep. That's too bad. That was the favored one right there. But I guess the other one does very good. Paul's saying hi to Matt. Guys, I'm getting down to the end here. Sycamore still going strong. Nice. Isn't this about the time that they tend to close up shop when they go and do that? All right. So I got down to the end and we're only halfway through. What's up with that, guys? So I think the thing we got to really ask is we saw let's talk about what's coming up. I didn't get to tell you about the new series. So every Tuesday I always put out a video, and it's normally in the club equipment genre, right? Whether we're building a club, fixing a club, talking about parameters of club, fitting, that kind of stuff. That's working out really well. Now, I'm going to release them on Saturdays, I believe, because I'm ahead of the game right now. And so what happened is I decided that I wanted to be able to increase my swing speed like everybody else out there. However, I was just about 2 minutes away from clicking on a website and get one of those speed training things when I found a guy on Twitter sent out a message saying, he's a doctor, a TPI, all these different things, and he's got this new system and he needs 5 guys to try it out. Well, I said, oh, okay. Well, and so you had to email him or tell him stuff. So I did. I emailed him, and told him, old fat guy and own a shop, and I can do some videos, and I really want to do this because the idea here is, yes, I do want to hit it further, but I want to hit it better. I also want to hit it better to the point where I might be able to take this PAT sometime next year, and for the PGA. It's just kind of a goal thing. And so he calls me. He actually contacted me and told me I was one of the 5. So I started working out. So the first week was kind of a wash in that I caught a cold, and it just basically wore me out for the entire week. So I said, well, we got to reset, and we did. We reset, and week 2 became week 1, and so on and so forth. And so I'm into week 2 now, going on week 3, and it's nothing that is brutally, you got to sit in the gym and sweat for hours. And that was the whole idea of what got my attention, is not to do that, because I not only do here, but I work another job and do this YouTube thing. So my time is very precious and very limited. And he took that into account, and he's tailored some workouts to making that happen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to track my progress on Saturdays. They won't be grossly long videos. They'll be, a 10-minute or maybe, and we'll talk about what the week was all about and what the results were. And so it's a 14-week deal. So it's 14 weeks of being able to tag along and see whether or not that something like this interests you. And throughout here, I will introduce you to the doctor, and we'll talk about the different things I had to buy, and we'll little bit by little bit, and we'll talk. Now, I will say, I've done one solid week. One solid week. The first one I did my initial, and I gave them all the information, and went through the second round. And after this, after the first week alone, I use an 8-iron and a driver, and you'll see the process. And I picked up significant distance with my 8-iron. Now my driver, I actually slowed down, and this is like 2 weeks into it, so you may forget. But my quality of hit was so good, I actually hit it further. And that's kind of what I was looking at, right? I want to be, if I'm not swinging very, very well, I want to hit it very, very well. And that's kind of what happened. So it's small transition. I didn't gain 15 yards the first time around. I gained like 1.5, but the quality was better. And so the workouts work. So that's where we're going to go with that. And so if you guys think it's a good idea, let me know, because, well, I'm going to do it anyway. But I think it's a good idea because, if a guy like me can pull this off, a guy like you or a lady like you out there, if you're listening, could do the same thing. And the guy seems to be very, very nice, and we get through that. So that's what I'm thinking. All right. Mike, I wonder if Bryson's comes from single length clubs. Actually, in the actual single length irons, probably not. Now in the wedges, that's always been the bone of contention, is that the wedges are really, really tall, and that you tend to hit them further. Now I would tend to disagree with that particular issue based on the fact that he's also single planing, so he can control it on the way back. Where the question lies is that he is so strong right now that the shaft might be a little bit too waggly. And that could be his issue. It might be kicking early, kicking late, something along that lines. And I'm going with the announcer on this one. So, yeah, I think he did all right. Paul, Tour Edge. Tour Edge. I think Tour Edge is it's a good golf company. The Tour Edge, there's two significant different lines in Tour Edge. The regular Tour Edge is a very, very good club. Is it going to be a world beater? Probably not. However, they also have the exotics. Is that going to be a world beater? It already has been. And their 3-wood, I don't know not so much about their driver. And the exotics only hang out at the upper end. I don't know why they haven't looked into an iron. Maybe they have, and I'm just not aware. But they are some of the most efficient people when it comes to getting clubs out the door that I've ever seen. Krister's there. I saw some on Facebook that you went and got fit, dude. Well done.
Danny Jonathan just sent this. Thought you might want to see it.
What's that? Now this is the way you do cold right here. How he plays in the cold. Let's see if you can see that. See that little propane with a little heater sticking out of there? That's my idea of staying warm right there. Past my prime. Signed with the wrong account. Good news. I'm subscribed twice. No lake winds in central Illinois. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, dude. I lived in Iowa, and we used to get all just like you guys, give it a minute, the weather to change, and winds blowing. I don't know if that was just because we were in the plain states or not. Todd Reinhardt, any thoughts on Tacoma irons? You know, I went and looked those up, guys. Somebody else asked me about those, and I went and looked them up. And for the life of me, I can't remember what I saw. To be honest with you, apparently I wasn't going to deal with it, so I forgot. But I did look at them. There was a guy I knew that had a set, and he really enjoyed them. I will say that. How good they are, I don't know. I have to go back on that one. D9 Forge is going to be out next year. I don't know if it's going to be January, but certainly by February. Gary Ruiz? Okay. Gary here, and I have a couple questions about replacing a double bin Scotty Cameron Phantom X11. Shaft is 355. Who can supply that shaft? Who can supply that shaft? Well, a double bin Scotty Cameron 355. Is this actually goes, the Phantom, it actually goes in, it's not over a post, right? If that is true, if it goes in, what I had to do once before is I called up GolfWorks and had them double bend it for me. And they did. And have them do it for me. That worked. The 355 putter shaft might be a bit, not being readily made, and what you would probably want to do is get I think what he tries to use is an 8-iron X-Flex shaft, and then get that thing bent. Another place that might be able to help you out, if you're, I don't know where you're at, but if you're in the UK, I would go with was it Diamond Golf? They're in England, and they are basically the GolfWorks of that side. I imagine that they could do it. And the only other one that I'm aware of, there's a shaft website. They have just all kinds of oddball type shafts. And I'd like to say Shafts R Us, but it's not. It's if you put in golf shafts, they normally show up in the search in the top 3. And you should be able to do that. Krister did a retrofit with his driver, MMT 70X, a little long, nice. Lowered spin, 400 RPM, launch higher with a 4.6 degree club. Whew. Swing weight got up to D8. But if it works better and here's the thing about that. If it works better and you're hitting the ball solidly and it's going where you want it to go, ignore the SW. Just hit it. Because chances are you need it. Okay. Greg Carter, haven't forgot about coming for the fitting, having minor shoulder injuries and waiting to heal. Played VA at Chillicothe. Sunday was a horrible day due to the injury, but still fun. Greg, I played that place once, and it was played with some buddies. First time around. It was, exact for what it is and for the fact that it's maintained by volunteers, I give that thing a huge thumbs up. All right, huge thumbs up. All right, Scott wants to know, can you talk soft and hard stepping shafts? Can a 370 parallel be soft step to make it play a lower flex? Well, yes. So let's talk about what we mean by hard stepping and soft stepping. Soft stepping is taking a longer shaft and putting it into a shorter iron. So like putting a 5-iron into a 5-iron shaft into a 6-iron head. Hard stepping is just the opposite. You put a 6-iron shaft into a 5-iron head. And typically what it does is it changes the flex right around a third of a flex. Okay. Now, the thing with hard stepping and soft stepping, particularly if you don't have enough or if you go too far, say let's go 2 steps. When you go one way or to the other, you run out of shafts. All right, you just run out of shafts. So if you're going one way, let's say you're going to the top, you're hard stepping, which a lot of people do. That means that you'll have a pitching wedge shaft in your pitching wedge, your gap wedge, your pitching wedge, your 9-iron, your 8-iron. And then it'll go up from there. Now, if you go down the other way and you can run out of at the top end where if you're only starting like at a 5, then you got plenty of room. But if you start at the top end, which has happened to me a few times, you just run out of shafts. So the 3 and the 4 are the same shaft, and then it takes off from there. So you just have to know that going into it. Now, there are some discrete length 370 shafts out there, Nippon or Nippon being one of them. Or if you were to, say, get a series of shaft pulls and they were done correctly and you were going to go put them into the next set of clubs, yes, it would do the same thing. But keep in mind, it's going to be shorter or longer, right? With a shaft pull because the grips on them, they're already cut to a length, blah, blah, blah. In the other one, no, you can put it in there, and yes, it should do it because, again, the discrete length one is made for that particular length, and if you go up and down, you get the same effect. Now, if you have a parallel tip and you just want to do that, then you trim it to length and you go. All right. That's what I was going to ask, Charles. How's that shoulder, buddy? Matt, I'll take you up on that one, bud. We're going to walk around. We'll have a lot of fun with it. Krister, shoulder's getting better and better. Good. We like to see that. Seems all the running is helping the shoulder get better. Really? Well, what are you up to? 15 miles by now? You animal. How do you run since you're up there and you're in the snow, do you run in the snow or do you run on a treadmill? All righty. Let's see. Yep. Good to deal. There we got that. Danny Sapp, what are your thoughts on putter fitting? What do most of the people need? Face balance, toe hang, lie angle, how to figure out the length to play. Okay. It looks like I got the end of my 7-Up. Putter fittings, absolutely necessity. All right. People like getting driver fitting because it's an ego club. Can you make and the strides that you make with those things can be very, very large, and it makes you, feel better. And of course, as it should, right? Same thing with irons. As long as you start striping them or hitting them better or further, it makes you feel better. Unfortunately, a putter is not an ego club, right? It is a get the ball in the hole club. So to hit one further than your buddy is not necessarily the idea. Now, the idea is to sink a 40-footer while your buddy's standing right next to the cup. That would be cool. Particularly to even up scores or whatever. And that's what putter fittings are for, a level of consistency. Now, for all the things that you're asking, the length of play, what I have is an old tool that came from a designer called Kirk Curry. He was, at one time, I would put him in the top 3 putter designers, and he is since out of the business. But he created a length and lie tool, and it doesn't have any markings. It just, what it is, it's a blade, and I hold down the putter with my finger, and I say, okay, I hand it to him. I say it goes back and forth, up and down. I said, get over the ball just like you think that you would be comfortable. And here, as of late, these guys have been pushing this thing to like 8 degrees flat. And I'm like, is this the way you hold your putter? He goes, well, no. I said, well, what makes that comfortable? And we will start talking about that. But even if they say that's what they want to try, then we'll try it. And then what we'll do is I'm trying to get them to a specific pardon me. I'm trying to get to a specific stance so the person can see the line. Now, there's going to be a lot of contention about that. Does it have to be right over the ball? No. Does it have to be inside the ball? No. Does it have to be over the ball? No. All right. But the thing is, as long as you're seeing the line. Now, 99 times out of 100, again, my opinion, on top of the ball to the inside towards your stance, is the way that you want to do it. Getting over the line, you miss the line, and you can't see it very hard, and you end up hitting these tremendous pushes, right? And it's not very good. And however, there are certain people with certain visions that will have the bifocals, or they have a stigmatism or a vision, and they see better there. So you have to kind of feel that one out a little bit. But then once you get them into the stance, you see that, and then what happens is that it becomes repeatable. You see them making putts. And I'm out at 10 foot. And as we all know, at 10 foot, the make or break on this thing is less than 50%, even with the tour guys. So if I can get you making putts out there, the confidence goes very, very high. And then to double check it, what I do is a ladder drill, and I will set a dozen golf balls from the cup, about this far from the cup, all the way back, and have you do repeatable strokes so I can watch and see what you do when you change distances. Now, when that goes on, I am watching the stroke, because certain strokes do favor certain types of putters. All right. Screen doors like more heel weighted, where back and forth is more malady type stuff. However, there's been a slight change in the last couple of years in that, some of the guys that are screen doors like the idea of a really big face to look at so they can line things up. Hence introduces the S neck. And what that does is it takes it from a face balance to a toe hang of about, I'm going to say 15, 20 degrees, which tends to work. And so those are all these things that keep coming into play, right, Dan? And then when we're all said and done, we go and we look at a grip. Sometimes the people like the standard grip that comes with it. Sometimes they don't. And whatever gives you confidence, that's what we go with. And then as a last minute, once we get the putter all put together, if it doesn't have a back weight in it, we'll put them and we'll let them putt, because sometimes the grip can throw you off a little bit. And what we'll do there is I will test you for a back weight, whether you need one or not. And we'll just see if your putting gets better. If it does, then we recommend it. If it doesn't, then we don't. But at least you checked, and then you know. So there it is. There's the long and the short of it. Now, face balance or toe hang, honestly, I think I'm pretty close to about a 50-50 split on that, depending on people that come in. Here's a fitting tip secret for you guys. When I watch people's putting stroke, I can almost tell you how you hit the golf ball with your iron. Think about that one for a minute, because there's a lot of similarities of how you come through the ball with your putter versus an iron. It's really something to see. Danny, it's 7-up, sir. I got a bit of a upset tummy, so we're trying to keep everything down, so to speak. All right, with the MMT, felt that I could go after the ball with better control, but wasn't in the best shape, so swing speed and bore down. Lost 2 meters of carry, but gained 5 in total distance. Well, that's because your spin went down. But the one thing you really want to look at, and I thought I saw it, you were actually hitting it pretty good. 145 to 148. You get above 146, I consider that an excellent strike. Obviously, 148 is better, but if you can get in that area, you should be good to go. All righty. Looked at a new putter as well, like the Sigma G test. Yeah, I like the Sigmas. They're pretty good. Oh, I got to block a user here. There we go. All right. Danny, do I know anything about O-Flex shafts? Well, all I know, Danny, is what I've been seeing on all the reviews and whatnot. I know where they're made. I know what they look like. I know what they do. And they do not follow any, what we would consider here in the U.S., normal fitting parameters. And the argument here is because Rick Shields did one, and he just went and got a club or a shaft that he thought would be the way to go. And we talked about that on here once before, and he didn't hit it any further. The whole idea is that you're getting this whip into it, and you just hit it a ton. And which is kind of it's a foreign concept here. I mean, we do want some whip, but we don't want like buggy whip kind of stiff or flexible. And somewhere along the lines, that's what that thing feels like. Now, it could be the way that it's made and all the things that come into play in order for it to stiffen up when you swing, yada, yada, yada. However, the guys at Pxg actually went through the process, and they had one sent to them. And their site exploded with requests for that stuff. And so you have to be very, very particular. I mean, if you're interested in this thing, you certainly must go get fit for it from whoever does it, because you're going to drop a C note on this thing, and that's not what we're looking for. That would be a disappointment if it didn't work. All righty. Darren, frequency question. If you are super fussy, how do you frequency match a shaft set if you have up to 5 grams and keeping your frequency number still where you want it, cut less from the tip? I'm going to go with this one. If you're super fussy, and we are, shaft setup and you had up to 5 grams. If we're talking about 5 gram deflection between the low end weight and the top end weight, I get that. And so what you might want to do is, if you really, really, really wanted to be dead solid on, what you do is you start untipped and go with the lightest club, lightest shaft to the heaviest shaft, lightest head to the heaviest head, and put it in there untrimmed and go for the right length. And then check to see how far off you are. And that'll give you an idea of what to trim, okay? Then when you go to do that, in most cases, the trim code would be half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch. In order to test that, on the second club, put it in again naked or untrimmed, and see if you have to take off the same amount. And 99 times out of 100, the answer is going to be yes. So now you've taken off whatever that initial is plus that half of an inch. Now, when you get down there, you tip trim off to whatever the first one was, giving yourself that half inch leeway, and then testing it, and then seeing how much you need to tip trim all the way down. It takes a little bit longer, but if you're looking for dead on, that's how you do it. Kind of here playing E6 online. Patrick, I've got E6, and I have yet to be able to turn that damn thing on. I need to figure, I don't, and trying to find somebody to help me at E6 is being hard. If you've got a connection over there to talk to, please send it in an email. I would really, really, really like to get into some of that. It would be very nice over the summer. Five gram is in swing weight. Okay. So 5 gram is in swing weight. On the tip end, if you're adding 5 grams, that's about 2 swing weights. All right. And it will change as you go down. So what you want to do is, again, using that same, you want to get to where your frequency is around 2 higher than what you want. All right. 2 higher than what you want. And then you put that weight in there and then flex it again, and it should come back down. There you go. I didn't feel as the D8, so I may ignore. Yeah. I'm telling you, well, if you're hitting it good with the numbers I saw, bud, I would just ignore that number and just get to swinging, because you like going after it. I saw the swing. And that shoulder gets repaired. It's going to be awesome. Well, that goes without, again, that goes without saying, because your shoulder hurts. When you get your shoulder done, then you can really start working on the swing. Doing it now while you're hurting, and you're the guy that's the pro. If you're doing it while you're hurting, I think you would just incur a bad habit. So you want to be careful with that. Run on the snow. My gosh. Dude, you are the man. When frequency matching an iron set of irons, how does the frequency correlate to swing weight? What are the swing weights close to or from an iron or not? So what happens, Charles, is you could, if you didn't really have it, let's put it this way. Let's say no weight added, no nothing, and you did your weight sorting. So again, lightest to heaviest, and lightest to heaviest, making sure you had your span, right? We want 7 grams plus or minus. I like plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2 max, but plus or minus 1 is my fave. And then what you do is you frequency match the first one, or you get the frequency one on the first one, and then tip trim accordingly. All right. And that, because what's happening is you're tip trimming off some of that stuff, but it's being made up by the head. So the swing weights end up being the same. Bob's watching. Patrick, can you talk about sick putters? I understand the premise, but if the club head is the same distance from the ground each time, is it to make up for bad ball placement? Well, I actually looked those guys up. I almost started with them, but I thought maybe that the price might be prohibitive for my area. And I do like the idea that, so what he's talking about is the face on this thing is to give you, whether you hood it or you flick it or you come through, that you're seeing that particular part of the face to give you a very similar launch characteristic when you putt. And it's sectioned off. It's very much a cordoned off thing. And these guys are the only ones doing that. All right. Now, there used to be something where they had it, instead of the loft going this way, that it actually went that way. That was a gimmick. But these guys are milling certain loft aspects and grains and lines into it. And it's really quite nice. Some of the putters are kind of funky, but if they're milled out, they should feel pretty decent, and they can do that. So, and bad ball placement, or if you're in a very undulating type of green, right, where you have a very upward, because around here in the mountains, it's nothing for a putter to do like that, or a green to do like that. They undulate very, very heavily in some cases, and you might pick it up from there. But that's where they're going with that. And then they have the other part about this, not just the face, is that they also have the neck for offsets, so that you put your hands in the right place for the golf ball, and then with the right length, and then the right style, and then the right grip. I mean, it keeps going. It's just not just the face, it's the whole system. And the system's pretty intense. Thank you, Charles. I think we talked about them, so we're good there. Simon Gear, how are you, sir? Would you buy a set of Pxg 211 with Mitsubishi regular shaft? Help me, please. Well, Simon, don't take this from me, buddy, but no. And the only reason being is I don't need them, right? From a realistic point of view, I just don't need them. I've got 2 sets of irons that I'm very happy with a third one sitting over here. So, no. Now, is that to say the 211 is bad? No. But that's what the one they're giving out for the guys that are first responders, veterans, that kind of thing, and they're selling them to it at a reduced rate, and good for Parsons for doing that. However, the new stuff that's out is more technologically advanced. So if you're looking for a new set to be the latest and greatest, that is not it. If you're looking for a set of clubs and you're going to play off and on every once in a while, then yeah, that could be the set. Now, the regular Mitsubishi shaft that comes in that is actually pretty good. I would, if you're leaning on your 8-iron, between your 8-iron and your 7-iron to be the 150-yard club, you're probably in the right spot. Retired 43, how are you doing, sir? Still like the picture. 7 and 7. That would be nice, but no, just the regular stuff. There's my sis. She's out there and she's watching. Thank you, kiddo. And there's Bob. Hey, and I told him I got an email on it's a place called The Virtues. You need to ask your other half about that one. No doubt, right, Patrick? You get an Autoflex. Gee, many Christmas. That thing would be it. Not only would it garner a lot of attention for being pink, but if it really, really worked and it threw you out there, oh my goodness. Simon, lost some distance, but I'm 50, never hit graphite iron shafts. Well, graphite iron. So Simon, graphite irons. They're lighter, so yes, they do help you pick up some swing speed. But the reality here is if you're a smooth swinger, you'll probably like them more, right, than a standard weight shaft. It might take you a few holes to get used to them or a few balls on the range, but they quite a bit better. Now, the other part is that I like with graphite is that they're tremendous shock absorbers. So if you have any joint issues or hand issues, that these things they just allow you to play golf longer, right? And the only thing I would, if you take divots the size of Rhode Island, I'd be cautious of that. And only because even graphite only can take just so much. And I mean really heavy Jasper Parnevik kind of divots. Now, even steel will fail eventually, but it's much more sturdy than the graphite. And I've had that happen. I've had guys that just come in, it's just chopping wood. And they go and they I really like these. And I said, but you keep breaking them, so we're not going to do that. So that's the way it is. Patrick Barman, how are you, sir? How do OEMs counterbalance shafts? Is there a weight in the butt end, or is there someone trying this out? Can you add a weight to the butt end of a normal shaft, or must one buy a CB shaft to try out? All right, Patrick, that's 2 different things, bud. So OEMs buy what are called counterbalance shafts. And so let's say that this was a counterbalance shaft. It's not, although they do make one, right? They do make one. And what that means is it doesn't mean that it's significantly heavy here. What they mean is that they've taken it and they've moved the balance point, say, from here to here, right? And how do they do that? Well, they do move a little bit of weight to the back, or they make in the shaft. They do make it, and that's where they're changing the balance point. And so, yes, they do make that kind of stuff. Now, why do they do that? In some cases, it's so that you can make the driver shaft longer. Now, that with the idea that the USGA is going to limit length, that could be problematic. Okay. The other one is if you needed a lighter swing weight for somebody that was extraordinarily smooth, or like the weight here, not out there. Okay, that's the other part. Now, can you add weight to the butt end of a normal shaft? Yes, you can. There's several ways of doing that. Balance Certified is a group that we work with. Tour Lock is another one. You might be able to find them at Golf Works maybe, but Tour Lock. And then there's one more, but it takes a little bit, and they have these plastic inserts that go into the butt of the shaft, and then you can glue in some weights at the back end, whether it be powder or a couple of weights that you drop in and glue in. You can do that as well until you get what you like. Patrick likes to walk the course whenever possible. Yeah, that's the reason why I would do it right there. Darren, okay, haha. Do you swing weight properly if you can't work with the local proper length before trimming if being fussy? So a couple of things. Number one, I pay attention to swing weight if the customer asks for it. Outside of that, I do not. Now, do I try and keep them wherever I'm at? Do I try and keep them even? Yes, I do. I try to keep them even so that they feel all the same when they go through, right? So one doesn't feel heavier than the other, and I try and stay within a swing weight point or two. I prefer the one, but two, right? Only because research has shown that even the most sensitive people rarely can sense a 2 swing weight change. There are some out there that can, but it's very rare. And we get to that. So that's how I do that. Now, what I will do is if somebody's looking for a particular swing weight, I'll do some dry fitting on a club and then go back and retrim if necessary. Am I a member? No, I'm not, Jason. I am not. I help a lot of the other members out. I do that with the assistants. They like, there's a club making section, and what you have to do is take a lot of pictures and show folks of what you're doing, that kind of thing. And the shop is a much better picture thing, but I normally don't let them slide. I take them through a very, very, very detailed orientation so that when they go down there and they get asked anything about the golf club, they pass with flying colors. So far, so good. Jerry, what'd you do, bud? Finally purchased my first Vokey wedge over the weekend and love it. Ha, K-Grind, okay. Sunny V, how are you, sir? Hopefully not under too much snow, just so much. Alrighty, sir. How about, just email me and we'll get whatever's convenient with you. Oh, looks like Mrs. McGolf is already scheduling. PI Canada. Darren, you are welcome, sir. We're getting close. Past my prime. I'm going to have to rewatch the webcast. I got here late and have to pull some questions. All right. A couple more and then we're done. Jason, where do you get your info? Where do you get your info from your PGA America, or is there a club builder? So, okay. So, I am a member of was a member of the PCS, which is the Professional Club Makers Society. It's defunct. Now there are two other organizations out there: the ICG, the International Club Makers Guild, and the ACGP, and that is, I don't know what the A stands for, but it's Golf Club Professionals, and they're both golf club repair fitting type organizations, and I would recommend those highly. And that's where I got, through the PCS, that's where I got my information from, to the point I finished all the certifications there were no joke. They were very, very serious. 300 question tests and a practical. And if you didn't pass either one, you failed the whole test, and you had to start over. So it was very, very important to pass on the first time. However, that's where I got a lot of mine at, going through some of the schools. GolfWorks has an excellent series of schools, to be honest with you. Pardon me. And they know how to do that. The PGA of America really doesn't concentrate on that stuff anymore. There are some guys that have an affinity for golf equipment, but you rarely see very many of those guys going that direction. The Pxg Putters, I think I really like. They're, to put a bit of a fine point on it, they look like a blackened out version of what you probably get from Ping. But I do like them. I like the fact that they got the really neat names. They got the really neat blacked out. I do like that because it's black and white, very contrasting, gets over the ball, that kind of thing. But the irons, I've had several sets of irons in here now. The weights are very, very good. The quality of the make is very, very good. However, particularly in the 211s, they're very, very soft. Now, if you're playing those and you're hitting the ground quite a bit, I would have those loft and lies checked about once every 6 months. That's how soft they are. All right, 2 more, guys. Got that one. Yeah. All right. Here we go, Dave. I asked for the new Excalibur iron shafts for Christmas. Good for you, dude. And they're not bad. I will say that. They're not bad. Oh, level 1. Currently 0. Well, hopefully you get through it, Jason. It's a very steep slope, and the reason being is you only want the best that are in there. Last one, John Sheehan, north of you in Ashland. Oh, okay. First able to watch live. How do you feel about changing tee markers from skill rather than yardage? Yeah, we've always, between me and Bob and the other guys we play with, if that's what really the tees were for. Normally it was like age, right? You would senior tees, guys are younger, guys that were super young, and that was mostly related to the fact that they were longer off these tees. Well, with folks getting in shape, driver fittings the way they are, or even iron fittings the way they are, people are starting to hit longer. And I think I'm all about speed of play. And if you're one of those knuckleheads that gets out there and absolutely has to play from the tip, but you can't break 100 doing it, move up. Move up and just enjoy the game. That's what it's about. Don't punish yourself. Move up. And the same thing, just keep moving up. All right. Uh-oh. Got one here. Stan, Highland 12-year current. Well done, sir. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I'm sticking with this today. All righty. So we got down to the end. 8 minutes over. Not feeling too bad. Again, remember, we got the video tomorrow, and we will have one leaving out on Saturday as well. If you like to see progress, to see what working out will do for you, and hopefully make it easier, and or make it, give you a good idea of what you can do if you wanted to. Okay, guys. Again, all over the world. Again, I appreciate it as always, and let's see your scores go low.